Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you all a little bit about something that I never thought I would be giving advice on. Or not even necessarily advice, but just even my thoughts on. So recently my husband mentioned to me that he thought it was funny that I have more friends than he does here in Lexington where we live. Because I didn't grow up here and he did. And I kind of laughed at that and then thought about it for a minute, and I realized that he said that I have a lot of friends, and that sounded so weird to me because growing up I was never somebody who had a lot of friends. In high school I had a very small group of friends, and I just wasn't someone who went up to people and talked to them. And so I just very much identify with being an introvert and someone who has trouble making friends. So when he said that to me, it just seemed so odd. And so I thought a little bit about how I would describe myself. And if you asked me about myself, I would say that I'm an introvert and that I don't make small talk well, and that I have trouble conveying my thoughts or, getting to know someone and not being super awkward. And that's kind of how I would describe myself. But I thought a little bit about it and I thought, well, maybe that's not who I am anymore. I'm probably still awkward. Yeah, definitely still awkward. And definitely still kind of nerdy. But the thing is I've overcome what used to hold me back from making friends, and I didn't even realize that I had done it. So I want to tell you all how to become an extroverted introvert. So what that means for me is that I still have my introvert time. I still need that time by myself to think, to go through my thoughts and just clear my head. I still love that time, but I also love being with other people. And I thrive off of that. I love getting together with friends and doing things and having similar hobbies. So this is how I've done it now that I'm 30 years old and I've finally figured it out a little bit. So I actually wrote down some points on my phone that I wanted to remember. So the number one thing for me has been to find my passion. So find what you're passionate about. So for me, doing aerial silks really opened some doors for me. I took the leap of faith and went and purchased a Groupon for an aerial silks class, and I loved it. And I wasn't really there to make friends, and I knew I would have to talk to people and it would be a little bit awkward, but the great thing about aerial silks or a class like that is that you have to take an intro class. So when you take an intro class, you're going to be there with other people who are in the same boat as you, most likely. Maybe you notice that they're a little better than you because they're more fit, they've done other stuff, and you're completely new to fitness. But for the most part, you'll be connecting and laughing with each other about how bad you are at it. So I feel like that is a great type of thing to do. Go and take a class. Find something that interests you. You don't know if you're going to like it or not, but you can go and try it out, and then over the course of time, if you keep going, you'll be surprised that you make friends. And that's what happened with me. I didn't go intending to make friends, and just every single class I got to know some of the same people a little bit better, and you figure out who you click with, and now those people are a good group of friends. So that is my number one way. Find what you are passionate about and you'll find your people. So number two is going to be a little out there for some of you, but for me this helped me overcome a lot of fear. Start your own company. So that sounds really big, right? I don't necessarily mean it the way it sounds. But, so some of you may know that I did Pure Romance, and that is selling relationship enhancement products. that is way outside of my comfort zone. A friend of mine who is just, she is the greatest saleswoman I know. She had started selling it and I'd gone to some of her parties and it was just so much fun. And she just, you know, she made me want to do it. And because I saw what she was getting out of it. And so I did it. I took that leap of faith and I did that. And in doing that, it really pushed me because I was reaching out to people about my products. I was reaching out to people to see if they might want to join my team. I was booking parties. I was traveling to people's houses. And if you know anything about me, you know that I used to not really like to drive. Still, if Nate is with me, he's always doing the driving. But my biggest fear, I realized, with driving was getting lost. And so whenever I was driving to all of these people's houses to do parties, that made me do what I was so afraid to do, which was to go new places. And that fear of getting lost kind of dwindled after I continued to not get lost. Thank God for GPS. But so I really came out of my shell through my doing an MLM company. Now I know that there's lots of negative connotations about MLMs and those types of things. I know that there's lots of pushy people on Facebook, and I definitely tried not to be one of those pushy people. I like to tell people about my stuff, but try not to be too pushy. So find something that you're interested in, and maybe if there is something like that for you that you've wanted to sell, maybe it's Jamberry products, or which, do they even make those still? I don't know. Or there's several skincare companies or anything like that, and maybe you don't take it super seriously. Maybe it's not something you're looking to make a ton of income from. One of the companies that I keep looking at right now is Steeped Tea, because my friend Kaylin, the same person who used to do Pure Romance, is doing that now, and I love the tea, and I think that's just a super fun thing that, I mean, I'm gonna drink tea anyway, and I like to share what I'm doing, and I would just share that organically without even trying. So that's another one that I keep thinking about. But I feel like when you take on something like that, it forces you to become a part of a team. It forces you to focus on reaching out to people sometimes to see if they might be interested in your product. Of course, reaching out the tactful way, not the pushy way, and stuff like that. It kind of makes you put yourself out there. So even if I never really made a ton of money doing that, I feel like it served me well in the time that I did it. And I would consider doing it again. My third one is so simple. It's just say yes. Say yes to stuff. Like, obviously not to things that you're afraid of because they could do you harm. But if somebody invites you to go somewhere, or if somebody says, hey, I miss you, let's get together, say yes and make a plan. I mean, it's so simple. It's really, really simple, but the more you put yourself out there, the more you try things, the more you'll become comfortable in those situations. And it is sometimes uncomfortable at first, and I battled a lot of anxiety whenever I would say yes and go somewhere and not know what to expect, and be in a situation that made me a little uncomfortable, but I pushed through, and I feel like that has definitely helped me. And then this kind of goes along with say yes, but number 4 is show up. Just show up. So once you say yes, actually show up. Like it's very easy to, you know, on the day of, be sitting there thinking, oh, what did I say yes to? I don't really want to do that. I think I'll make up a reason to not do that. And sometimes, you know, there's those days where you just realize you just can't be out in public today. Like, you just can't go anymore. You can't deal with any other humans today. I get that. But I really, whenever I say yes or make a commitment to something, I really, really, really try hard to keep that commitment and not bail out of it just because I'm not feeling interested in doing it anymore. And then number 5, practice self-care. So just because you are getting better at being a little extrovert, it doesn't mean that you aren't still an introvert. So I definitely like to make sure to take a warm bubble bath or have a glass of wine and relax or read or work on my website or my YouTube channel, just something that relaxes me, and I can just be by myself and do that and just enjoy my introvertedness. So you definitely still have to remember that that's who you are at your core, if that's who you are, and practice self-care for that part of you, because if you don't take that time to be by yourself, you will definitely become burnt out, and that's no good for anyone. So those are my five ways to become an extroverted introvert. Find your passions, take a class, do something fun that you would never do, find some new people. Start your own company if you're interested in something like that. Seriously, it was so good for me. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone. Say yes to things that don't do you harm. Don't say yes to drugs. Show up and keep your commitments when you say you're going to do them, and then practice that self-care to remember who you are. So yeah, those are my ways of becoming an extrovert. So let me know if you have tried any of those things and if they've worked for you, or if you would add anything to my list. And thanks for watching.